All right, let's take a look at some commodities right here. We see the National Emergency Management Agency has warned of severe flooding in several states in Nigeria. One of the cited states is Adamawa State, which accounts for about 18% of total domestic honey beans. That's Oloyin production. Consequently, the price jumped by 20% to 180,000 naira per bag. That's 50-kilogram bag in October from 150,000 in September. Join us now for more is Rosemary Adibe. She's an analyst with Financial Derivatives Company. Hello, Rosemary. Great to have you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you. So do we expect the price of, honey beans to climb further in the near term, or are there factors that could help, mitigate the impact of the anticipated shortage?
Yes, we do expect the price of honey beans to increase further in the near term. Although honey beans are being planted between May and August, we are well into the harvest season of honey beans. But due to recent flooding in the northeast, especially in Adamawa State, which is responsible for 80% of honey bean production in Nigeria, we've already lost about 2,076 hectares of farmlands in Adamawa State. So we will not see the effect of the increase in harvests during this harvest season. Also, Nigeria imports about 16 billion worth of honey beans annually to offset its deficit of about 500,000 tons of honey beans. So obviously, the price of the dollar is affecting domestic prices of honey beans. Also, we cannot forget the effects of the hike in transportation costs. So transportation inflation has greatly affected the domestic prices of beans. As we've seen in September, the price of petrol rose from 568 naira to about 855 naira to 897 naira, with some Nigerians even buying petrol for as high as 1,200 per litre. So all these factors collectively have contributed to the hike in the price of honey beans.
All right, and we know beans, that's honey beans, that's a crucial ingredient for production of Akara and moi moi, that's bean cake. So I guess that's going to pass on the cost of Akara at this point. We're having to pay more for that.
Yes, of course. So the increase in the price of honey beans have greatly affected the prices of downstream products like Akara and moi moi. So what we see is a change in consumption patterns from consumers. So consumers are no longer looking for premiums; they are now looking for value for their money. So you see, price of honey beans increased from 1,800 to 2,200 naira per derica, and this has obviously increased the prices of Akara and moi moi that retailers charge consumers, because they will usually pass down the increased cost of production to consumers. So what consumers do now is that they look for more value for their money and they switch to cheaper alternatives like yam, which is coming into season, and potatoes. So yam, like a good average size yam is between 1,200 to 2,000 naira. And to get a good amount of potatoes to serve a family, you can get that for 1,000 naira compared to a derica of beans, which you can get for 2,200 to 2,500 naira, depending on where you are buying it from.
Yeah, quite interesting times, and it's quite irritating when cheap food becomes, expensive. But let's look at exports now. We see in 2015, the EU banned bean exports from Nigeria due to high level of weevils and pesticide residues. How's that looking? Have we seen any improvement, or maybe that ban might be reversed at some point?
The ban is still existing because, according to the EU, Nigeria has not complied to the standards that the EU has set. So the World Bank estimates that Nigeria and other developing countries would lose about $12 billion by 2015 in export revenues from bans of not just beans, but other commodities that have been banned from developing countries. So this will affect Nigeria in the sense that these export revenues could have been used to increase output in the local bean markets, and also to offset the deficits, the 500,000 ton deficit that we have. And there are things that Nigeria, the government, have been doing to kind of mitigate the, to kind of reduce this, and to the reasons for the ban, to kind of mitigate the reasons for the ban. Sorry. So what they have been doing, the Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Center have been going around and have been taking samples of honey beans from farmers, markets, and wholesale stores to test for pesticide residues. So the reason for the ban was because Nigeria's pesticide residues on dried beans was well over the permissible limit of 0.01 milligram per kilogram of honey bean. What they saw was 0.03 milligram of pesticide per kilogram. So sorry, 0.03 milligram to about 4.6 milligram per kg of pesticide in a kg of beans.
Right.
So the National Agricultural Quarantine Center have been going around to take samples to also check, to make sure that, okay, the pesticide residue is within the permissible limits. Also, they've also made available samples of less toxic pesticides, which farmers can use. And they're also working with farmers in Kano, Oyo, and in Benue states to produce biodegradable agro pesticides. And also, the government is also urging farmers to use more natural methods to preserve beans, like the use of pepper and the use of seed dust, which are safer and more natural methods of storing beans.
Right. I guess we should also, make sure, even though we're trying to comply, to make sure that they accept our exports, we should also put that same energy for domestic consumption. So because we need those pesticides levels to actually, stay low, even for domestic consumption. Thank you so much, Rosemary Adibe, analyst, financial derivatives company. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.